I'm gonna treat. May 15th. Acts chapter 22, verses 30. No. Yeah, verses 30 to chapter 23, 22. Judges 19 and Psalms 44. Acts 22 to 30. 23 to 22. Yeah, to make sure my brain don't process it and all that real quick. That's it. Paul before the High Council. Good morning. Paul before the High Council. The next day, the commander freed Paul from his chains and ordered the leading priests into session with the Jewish High Council. Paul had been brought in before them to try to find out what the trouble was all about. Acts 23. Gazing intently at the High Council, Paul began, "Brothers, I have always lived before God in all good consciousness." Instantly, Ananias, the high priest, commanded those close to Paul to slap him on the mouth. Paul said to him, "God will slap you, you whitewashed wall. What kind of judge are you to break the laws yourself or ordering me struck like that?" Those standing near Paul said to him, "Is that the way you talk to God's high priest?" "I'm sorry, brothers, I did not realize he was the high priest," Paul replied. "For the scriptures say, do not speak evil of anyone who rules over you." Paul realized that some members of the high council were Sadducees, and some were Pharisees, so he shouted, "Brothers, I am a Pharisee, as were all my ancestors. I am on trial because my hope is in the resurrection of the dead." This divided the council and the Pharisees against the Sadducees. For the Sadducees said there is no resurrection or angels or spirits, but the Pharisees believed in all of these. So great clamor arose. Some of the teachers of religious law who were Pharisees jumped up and argued that Paul was all right. "We see nothing wrong with him," they shouted. "Perhaps a spirit or angel spoke to him." The shouting grew louder and louder, and the men were tugging at Paul from both sides, pulling him this way and that way. Finally, the commander, fearing they would tear him apart, ordered his soldiers to take him away from them and bring him back to the fortress. That night, the Lord appeared to Paul and said, "Be encouraged, Paul. Just as you have told the people about me here in Jerusalem, you must preach the good news in Rome." The plan to kill Paul. The next morning, a group of Jews got together and bound themselves with an oath to neither eat nor drink until they had killed Paul. There were more than 40 of them. They went to the leading priests and the other leaders and told them what they had done. "We have bound ourselves under oath to neither eat nor drink until we have killed Paul. You and the high council should tell the commander to bring Paul back to the council again," they requested. "Pretend you want to examine his case more fully. We will kill him on the way." But Paul's nephew heard of their plan and went to the fortress told Paul. Paul called one of the officers and said, "Take this young man to the commander. He has something important to tell him." So the officer did, explaining, "Paul, the prisoner, called me over and asked me to bring this young man to you because he has something to tell you." The commander took him by the arm, led him aside, and asked, "What is it you want to tell me?" Paul's nephew told him, "Some Jews are going to ask you to bring Paul before the Jewish High Council tomorrow, pretending they want to get some more information. But don't do it. There are more than 40 men hiding along the way, ready to jump him and kill him. They have vowed not to eat or drink until they kill him. They are ready, expecting you to agree to their requests. Don't let a soul know you told me this, the commander warned the young man as he sent him away. That's Acts chapter 22, verses 30 to chapter 23, verse 22. Judges 19. The Levite and his concubine. Now in those days, Israel had no king. There was a man from the tribe of Levi living in a remote area on the hill country of Ephraim. One day he brought home a woman from Bethlehem in Judah to be his concubine. But she was unfaithful to him and returned to her father's home in Bethlehem. After about 4 months, her husband took a servant and an extra donkey to Bethlehem to persuade her to come back. When he arrived at her father's house, she took him inside, and her father welcomed him. Her father urged him to stay a while, so he stayed 3 days, eating, drinking, and sleeping there. On the 4th day, the man was up early, ready to leave, but the woman's father said, "Have something to eat before you go." So the two of them sat down together and had something to eat and drink. Then the woman's father said, "Please stay the night and enjoy yourself." The man got up to leave, but his father-in-law kept urging him to stay. So he finally gave in and stayed the night. On the morning of the 5th day, he was up early again, ready to leave. And again the woman's father said, "Have something to eat so you can leave sometime this afternoon." So they had another day of feasting. The afternoon, after he and his concubine and the servant were preparing to leave, his father-in-law said, "Look, it's getting late. Stay the night and enjoy yourself. Tomorrow you can get up early and be on your way." But this time the man was determined to leave. So he took his 2 saddled donkeys and his concubine and headed in the direction of Jebus, that is Jerusalem. It was late in the day when they reached Jebus, and the man's servant said to him, "It is getting too late to travel. Let's stay in this Jezebite city tonight." "No," his master said. "We can't stay in this foreign city where there are no Israelites. We will go on to Gilboa. We will find a place to spend the night either in Gilboa or Ramah." So they went on. The sun was setting as they came to Gilboa, a town in the land of Benjamin. So they stopped there to spend the night. They rested in the town square, but no one took them in for the night. That evening, an old man came home from his work in the fields. He was from the hill country of Ephraim, but he was living in Gilboa in the territory of Benjamin. When he saw the travelers sitting in the town square, he asked them where were they from and where were they going. "We have been in Bethlehem in Judah," the man replied. "We're on our way home to a remote area in the hill country of Ephraim. And we are going to the tabernacle of the Lord. But no one is taking us in for the night, even though we have everything we need. We have straw and fodder for our donkeys and plenty of bread and wine for ourselves." "You are welcome to stay with me," the old man said. "I will give you anything you might need, but whatever you do, do not spend the night in the square." So he took them home with him and fed their donkeys. After they washed their feet and they had supper together, while they were enjoying themselves, some of the wicked men in the town surrounded the house. They began beating at the door and shouting at the old man, "Bring out the man who is staying with you so we can have sex with him." The old man stepped outside to talk to them. "No, my brothers, do not do such an evil thing, for this man is my guest, and such an evil thing will be shameful. Here, take my virgin daughter and this man's concubine. I will bring them out to you, and you can do whatever you like to them, but do not do such a shameful thing to this man." But they wouldn't listen to him. Then the Levite took his concubine and pushed her out the door. The men of the town abused her all night, taking turns raping her until morning. Finally, at dawn, they let her go. At daybreak, the woman returned to the house where her husband was staying. She collapsed at the door of the house and laid there until it was light. When her husband opened the door to leave, he found her there. She was laying face down with her hands on the threshold. He said, "Get up, let's go." But there was no answer. So he put her body on his donkey and took her home. When he got home, he took a knife and cut his concubine's body into 12 pieces. Then he sent one piece to each tribe of Israel. Everyone who saw it said, "Such a horrible crime has been committed since Israel left Egypt. Shouldn't we speak up and do something about this?" Judges 19. Psalms 44. Oh God, we have heard it with our own ears. Our ancestors have told us all you did in the other days, in the days long ago. You drove out the pagan nations and gave all the land to our ancestors. You crushed their enemies, setting our ancestors free. They did not conquer the land with their swords. It was not their own strength that gave them victory. It was by your mighty power that they succeeded. It was because you favored them and smiled on them. You are my King and my God. You command victories for your people. Only by your power can we push back our enemies. Only in your name can we trample our foes. I don't trust my bow. I do not count on my sword to save me. It is you who gives us victory over our enemies. It is you who humbles those who hate us. Oh God, we give glory to you all day long and constantly praise your name. But now you have tossed us aside in dishonor. You no longer lead our armies to battle. You make us retreat from our enemies and allow them to plunder our land. You have treated us like sheep waiting to be slaughtered. You have scattered us among the nations. You sold us, your precious people, for a pittance. You valued us at nothing at all. You caused all our neighbors to mock us. We are an object of scorn and discursion to the nations around us. You have made us the butt of their jokes. We are scorned by the whole world. We can't escape constant humiliation. Shame is written across our faces. All we hear are taunts of our mockers. All we see are vengeful enemies. All this has happened despite our loyalty to you. We have not violated your covenant. Our hearts have not deserted you. We have not strayed from your path. Yet you have crushed us in the desert. You have covered us with darkness and death. If we had turned away from worshiping our God, spread our hands in prayer to foreign gods, God would surely have known it, for he knows every secret of every heart. For your sake, we are killed every day. We are being slaughtered like sheep. Wake up, O Lord, why do you sleep? Get up, do not reject us forever. Why do you look the other way? Why do you ignore our suffering and oppression? We collapse in the dust, lying face down in the dirt. Rise up, come and help us. Save us because of your unfailing love. Psalms 44. Whew. Such a blessing. Stay blessed in the word on a daily basis.